on this player, well in deep into his 30s. How do you, physically speaking, how do you feel about his durability and his ongoing improvement as a player? How does that factor into the
I think both those things help me make my decision. Marc's shown an increasing willingness to get better on the ice, as I spoke earlier. He's also showed an increasing willingness to keep his body in good condition, and as he said, he recognizes where he is age-wise, and it'll require more commitment. And we've talked about that. Players get better with age, and you have to be careful. You make a good point. You have to be careful, but I feel confident in Marc's commitment to that side of the game, and I expect him to continue to get better.
Seems like a lot more players these days are able to play at their highest peak level deep into their 30s as to before. A guy hit 32, 33 right off.
Well, and you're right about that, and you've seen more contracts that extend into those ages for that reason. I mean, we see the evidence in front of us. We see how the players come to camp and shape, and how they train over the summer, the training techniques. It's everything's improving. So as a result of that, the players will play longer.
Peter, can you just address maybe the Detroit model of extending these guys for long-term contracts? Just what kind of flexibility that gives you to turn an X-year contract into a 7-year?
Well, it allows you to get a little lower cap hit, so prima facie that gives you the ability to build the team better, and that's credit to Marc that he takes a lower cap hit and helps keep the team together and build the team. So, but Flew, in your question about the Detroit, I've had some discussions with Kenny. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he knows. The common thing we talked about is that you know the player, and I've known Marc for a while, and I've seen him in the battles. I've seen him off the ice, and I know the player. We know the player, and you're able to make that commitment when you know the player. You know his habits. You know a lot of those different things, and that's similar to the discussions I had with Ken. Like those players that they've had for a while, they know them, and it's always difficult when you go out into the market and you don't know the player. So we're happy with the agreement that we've reached with Marc, and he's going to be around here a while.
Marc, does Boston's identity as a sports town make it easier to make that long-term commitment to the team and to want to stay here? I mean, it's now a destination place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with all the incredible sports teams they have here, and the fans' knowledge about all the events is incredible. I just, since day one, and I look back at the playoffs and see what it could be. It really excites me too, especially when we play the Canadiens in the playoffs and the way the fans react. It's something that we like.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw in the past 3-4 years that he became such a great team guy. A lot of people probably didn't understood right from the beginning what he was all about, and maybe myself included. But I think that Marc is one of the guys who put pressure on himself to get results, which is totally understandable. He put pressure on himself to make plays and make things happen on the ice, and that's what players like him do. And like I said, he had every right to get that deal, and I'm sure everybody's happy for him. And he earned it.
$28 million is a lot of money, but there's a belief in sports that guys will just go wherever the highest number is. This doesn't seem like one of those cases. If he had gone to the end of the year and didn't sign, the open market would have offered him a higher price.
Probably, most likely, but again, he showed that he's all about the team and he wants to stay, and he believes in his team, which is a great thing. He seems living in Boston and fan base in Boston. And, that's why he probably chose to stay in Boston. But to answer your question, yeah, he would get probably more, but he chose to stay. So
lots of players that are one-dimensional players, and those players you can only use in certain situations. So I think what Marc has done in the past is he's added more to his game. He's still putting up points, which is his strength, but at the same time he's more reliable, and because he is that, we're able to put him in some different situations, whether you've seen him penalty killing or late in the game and doing the right thing. So I think he's tried to develop himself into an all-around player. You certainly don't want to take away his strength, but anytime you can add something to your game, which I think he's worked hard at doing, I think that's what's made him a better player. He hadn't had any playoff experience until a couple of years ago, and people were kind of wondering what he'd be like in pressure situations. I mean, he's responded with almost a point a game here, so you can't criticize a player who's got those kind of stats.
How invaluable is it for a coach to have these players that want to be here and want to be here for the long haul?
Well, I think you'll hear a lot of organizations talk about that. You know, sometimes certain organizations have a tough time getting players because players don't want to be in that environment. But we've been fortunate. I know that even those free agent July 1st days, we get a lot of calls from agents who are looking to put players in certain situations, and we seem to be a fairly popular team. So that's a good sign for the Boston Bruins and for the organization. It means that there's good things being said about this organization around the league, and players want to be here.
Every year you go through the thing where you can't necessarily pick the players you want because of the salary cap, and you go through other things because of the salary cap. I mean, it's the worst kept secret that he took a deal that is cap friendly. And just what does that mean for you as a coach to know that it's going to be helpful for you down the road?
Well, it is, Matt, because I think we try and build winning teams, and when you get a little too successful, the players want to be rewarded as successful players. So it's really hard these days to keep a team together, and what that does is allows you to at least try and keep your team together. And he's taken a step in that direction, and it's been good for the organization, and he realizes that he can't do it on his own, and we're going to need some good players around as well to be a good team. So that's without a doubt that helps. So that's more Peter's situation, but for me as a coach, it just means that it gives me a better chance to see that the players that we have that we want to keep here stay.